Defeating the math wizards, one problem at a time. Welcome to Math with Mrs. Lehman. I'm here with my 6th period class. Say hello, everyone. All right, so today what we're going to do is continue with our lessons on how to set up proportions when we're dealing with percents. Okay, so there are different ways that you can use to approach this. We're going to focus on the proportion way. All right, so I know some people have used different methods, but this lesson is focused on the proportion method. So we are on page 86, but before we go to 86, we're going to take a look actually on 87, which was the assignment from last night. This, I did not require the students to do the picture or the diagram, so I told them to cross this off. Yep, starting right there. Okay, so we're just handy-dandily ignoring certain things. All right, and then again, we're not using the models. We talked about them briefly, but again, the focus of this is the proportion. Okay, so question 107 says find 40% of 60. So yesterday we talked about two different proportions that we can use as a guide. What is one of those proportions? Who can tell me one of those proportions? I have Jacob here. He's going to tell us one.
Is over of
Equals
percent
over
free gummy bears.
free gummy bears, 100, right? So just like we said, if we went to Sam's Club and they offered us free gummy bears, we'd take them. It's a freebie, right? We know that percents are always out of 100. So, right? So Jacob said is over of equals percent over 100. And those are clue words that are going to help you know, well, what was the other proportion that we set up?
Part over whole.
Yeah. Say it louder, please.
Part over whole.
Equals?
Percent over 100.
Very good. Yeah, she said it with such confidence. Is over of equals percent over 100. And isn't of what I tried to start to say was that is will help indicate which of those quantities is the part out of the whole amount, okay? So a lot of times you might say, well, she's bored already, 2 out of a total of 4, right? Sometimes questions will chop out the out of or out of the total, so you might just hear the word of whatever. So in example 107, everybody should have had this, okay? Now we have to figure out what pieces we know. So, free gummy bears, right? So everyone has their free gummy bears? All right, so, I know that's weird. We just come up with things. So we know percents are out of 100. What else can we fill in there? I'm going to put some boxes in each of these spots. So I want to know what goes in the black box, the blue box, and the red box. Okay? So who can tell me a piece of this fine puzzle? Miss Malaya.
In the black box, a 24 is gonna go there.
Okay, that's what you solved for, right? So before you knew that, we didn't know what that was. That was our missing piece, right? And, all right, so what did we know?
We knew that 60 was gonna go in the blue box.
Very good. So we're going to put 60 here. That's our total amount. What key word, I should say, did you read that told you 60 was the whole amount?
Because it says 40 out of 60.
It says of 60, right? So of 60 was your clue. And again, is over of equals percent out of 100. All right. What else could we fill in, Christoph?
40 in the red box.
Why 40 in the red box? You're correct.
Because percent is over 100 and 40 is a percent.
Very good. Yeah, that represents the partial percent here, right? All right, so we know 40% out of 100%, and we are missing the top number. All right? Did anybody look at this and say, I can't take 100 and get to 60. What kind of nonsense is she teaching us? What do we need to do, Cassie? Simplify. Who wants to quote the one, the only math teacher of our school in 6th grade, Mr. Mattingly? Who wants to quote him? Nice and loud. Go ahead.
If you can't divide or multiply, you must simplify.
All right, who can do it in their best imitation of Mr. Mattingly? I can't wait to hear this. All right. First up is Tori.
If you can't divide.
Okay. All right. Take two from Jacob.
If you can't divide or multiply, you must simplify.
I hope Mr. Mattingly watches this video. All right. Brianna, you want to give it a go? All right, let's hear it.
If you can't divide or multiply, simplify. Yeah. Well, if you can't divide, multiply, simplify.
Oh boy. All right. Cassie's gonna give it a go. So far, I'm not really seeing the, resemblance. All right, go ahead.
If you can't divide or multiply, you must simplify.
That's pretty good. Anyone else want? That one. All right. Anyone else want to give it a go? All right. I'm declaring Cassie the winner. All right. Okay, let's hear for Cassie. In her starring role as Mr. Mattingly. Okay, so we need to simplify this. All right, you can always simplify it to its lowest term. Some people didn't go that far, but you will always, not always, if it's going to work when it's in simplest form. All right, so we have 40 out of 100%. So what do I simplify that? Man, child, you're on fire today, Malaya.
4 to 10.
4 to 10, all right? So she didn't simplify all the way down, but it still is compatible, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate how this would work this way. All right, so 10 times what gives us 60? Everybody? 6 times 6, all right? We take 4, do the same thing, right? So 4 times 6 is 24. Who got 24 as their answer? Raise your hand. So some people actually simplified this down further. What is the lowest terms version of this, Cam?
2 to 5.
Very good, 2 to 5. So now if you look at this, we can do 5 times what would give us 60? Michael?
12.
Very good. Do the same thing to the 2. 2 times 12 is 24. 12 times 2, Michael. You just multiplied wrong? Okay. He had the right numbers on his paper, but he multiplied incorrectly. Any questions on that? All right, a few people made mistakes. Raise your hand if you made a mistake in the setup, meaning you put the things in the wrong places. All right, who made a mistake, like, I'm going to pick on Michael for a second, who made just a silly calculation error? All right, those are the things we really got to be careful of, okay? Any questions? Yes, Tori. Very good. Yeah, that's going to help you out if you write this stuff right here. Okay? It's your little guide. All right, the next question says 15% of an amount is 30. So we had that down on our paper before we left yesterday. All right, well, hold on, let me draw these boxes. We have a black box, a red box, a green box, and a blue box. Who can tell me, don't give me the answer, right? But I'm filling in the info I'm getting from here. 15% of an amount is 30. What do I know? What do I know, Brianna?
We know that the ears need to go on the top and the of needs to go on the bottom.
Very good. So what number can I fill in?
Oh, you can fill in a 30 at the top. Put the 30 at the top.
Very good. 30 at the top here in the black box, right? So we have a 30 right here. Raise your hand if you put 30 in the top box. Very good. What clue did you have that told you 30 must go as the numerator. What clue did you have, Cam?
Is 30?
Is 30, yeah. Very good. So, we have the is 30. Everybody, tell me what goes in the blue box. 100. All right, free gummy bears, 100. All right, so now we have 2 more pieces to fill in here. 15% of an amount is 30. So we've already taken care of the 30. Where does that 15% go, Riley?
In the green box.
In the green box. Very good, because we know percents are out of 100. Very good. All right, so now we're looking for the connection here. You're going from 15 to 30. So you have to take 15 and multiply it by what to get 30? 2, right? What's 100 times 2? 200. Who got 200 here? All right, who put 50? Some people goofed up and put 50 because they were thinking, you know, they were multiplying 50 by 2 to get 100, right? To work from this side, 30 to 15, you're dividing by 2. So you're thinking, what number do I divide by 2 to get 100? You have to pay really close attention. All right, I'm going to show you a few different tricks to figure out if these ratios are equivalent. So can anyone think of one thing we've already talked about in math that would help you figure out if these are actually equivalent? Jacob?
Scaling up.
Okay, well, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing, right? We take 15, we scale it up to 30 by doubling it. We take 100, we scale it up to 200 by doubling it, right?
Yes.
All right, I'll give you a hint. One thing we could do, if it's accessible, we could always use this little thing. What could I do with that? I mean, we don't need one, but if we have one, we might as well. Divide, right? So take 30, divided by 200, and that would give you 0.5. So this is worth, the value of this first fraction is worth 1500s, right? Take 15, divide it by 100, look what you get, 1500. So they both have the same value. Are they equivalent? Yes, right? So if you do that, you'll know if they're equivalent. Another trick is, have you guys ever heard of like a bow tie or butterfly math or anything like that? All right, so does anyone want to tell me what we would do to see if they're equivalent? What do you think, Tori?
When you do the butterfly, or in other words, cross multiply, you would multiply 30 times 100 with, and then you would multiply, 50, and then, okay, so that would equal whatever your other one would equal.
Very good. Yeah, so when you do your cross multiplying, well said, Tori, you should get the same number for each, right? So 30 times 100, you're going to get 3,000. When you multiply 200 times 15, 2 times 15 is 30, add those 2 zeros on the end, they both equal 3,000 when you do that cross multiplying. Therefore, because you came up with the same number, you know they are indeed equivalent ratios, okay? So that's a little test. Any questions on that? So if you would have gotten 50 here, right? 15 times 50. Oh my goodness. Get 750. That's really sloppy. Anyway, you go ahead and do that. You get 750. That does not equal 3,000. That should be a clue to you. Oops, something's wrong, because a proportion is all about having 2 equivalent ratios. All right? We're going to do a few practices before we move on, and I'm not going to include what we're doing next. Well, we're going to do something next, and after that, we're going to talk about sale prices and stuff. So that's going to be a quick intro. So this lesson is more of just setting up our proportions as part over whole, or is over of equals percent over 100, and then we'll focus more on the sales stuff tomorrow, okay? Let's go to, actually, you have to go back a page, I guess. It is on page 86. So, at the zoo, it tells us the different exhibits and what type of exhibit it is. So, for example, mammals, reptiles, fish, birds, etc. And it says, they tell you this, it says there are 60 animal exhibits at the local zoo. So they did this step for you. If you want to figure out how many total exhibits there are, what do you have to do with all of these numbers? Add them up, yep. So when you add them up, what do you get? 60, yeah. So that problem gave it to you, but a lot of problems won't. So just be prepared. If you want to find the total or whole amount of something, you're going to have to do some adding to figure out what that total is. Okay? So we have 60 total exhibits. That would represent the whole zoo, right? So what percentage of the zoo do 60 exhibits represent? We're talking about a whole amount, what percentage represents a whole thing, a whole amount?
60%.
No, 100%. Final answer?
100.
100%, yes. So when you're talking about the entire zoo, you're saying these exhibits make up 100% of the zoo, okay? What we're going to do is set up proportions to figure out what percentage each animal class takes up of the zoo. So first thing we're going to do is write mammals. We're going to label this so our work is really neat. And we're going to do this. Line equals line. Okay, so we know part over whole equals percent over 100. So we're going to fill in our free 100. Okay, we know that the mammals, what's the partial amount there? 30, right? So 30 out of 60. Very good. So, again, you might be able to see that 30 is half of 60, right? And you know that's 50%. Some of you already, are writing that down. But let's show all of the steps, all right? So if we say, all right, what's the greatest factor of 30 and 60? We'd say 30. So 30 divided by 30 is 1. 60 divided by 30 is 2. Then you look for the connection. 2 times what gives me 100? 50. Yep. 1 times 50 is 50. So 50 out of 100, otherwise known as what percent? Pam?
50%.
Perfect. So we're going to put that right here. So 50%, 30 out of the 60 exhibits are reptile. Not reptile. Wow, I'm looking at mammals and I'm reading reptiles. Mammals. Let's talk about reptiles next. So again, let's label our work. Reptiles and amphibians. All right, line equals line. All right, so part over whole equals percent out of 100. Okay, so I need to figure out what the percent is, right? So we're missing this piece. We need to fill in what we know. So what do we know? Malaya.
15 out of 60.
Beautiful. The partial amount of the exhibits, not all of the exhibits are reptiles, but 15 out of a total of 60. All right? So again, we're looking at this connection saying that doesn't work. 60 times a whole number doesn't give me 100. So if that doesn't work, give simplifying a try, okay? So when we simplify that, 15 over 60, does anyone know what that would be in lowest terms? Joey Rap from the Joey Rap. Oh, Joey has a rap. All right, go ahead. 3/5. Nope. Nope, not 3/5.
5/6.
Guys. $15 divided by 60, right. So how many times does 15 go into 15? One time, right? 15 goes into itself one time. You okay over there? All right. How many times does 15 go into 60? 4 times, yeah, so 1/4. All right, now we're looking for the connection. 4 times what would give us 100? 25, very good. So times 25. 1 times 25 is 25. So 25 out of 100 is what percentage? Krista.
25%.
Beautiful, 25%. So if you go to this zoo, you can expect to see lots of mammals and a decent amount of reptiles and amphibians. All right, so far we've accounted for what percent of the zoo? So far with what we figured out. Stephanie?
Mammals have 50% and reptiles and amphibians have 25%.
So that adds up to a total so far of
75%.
very good, 75%. So we have another 25% left to account for. All right, so let's talk about the fish and insects. Okay, so line equals line. We're going to do part over whole equals percent out of 100. Okay, so what do I put as the partial amount here? What do you think? Cassie? 12, yeah. Because not all of the exhibits are fish, right? Only 12 out of a total of, what's the whole number of exhibits there, Cam?
60.
60, very good. So, again, we keep running into this issue. If you can't divide or multiply, you must. All right, so we are going to simplify 12 60ths. Who can tell me what that would simplify to? Emma?
1/6?
Nope, you're close.
1/5?
1/5, yeah, because 12 times 5 gives us 60, so this is going to be 1/5. Good? All right, we're looking for that connection. 5 times what will give us 100, Michael?
20.
Very good. Times 20. 1 times 20, toughest math problem of the day is 20. Yep. So 20 out of 100 is what percentage? 20%. 20%. Very good. So far we've accounted for 50%, 25%, and an additional 20%. So we have how much so far? What does 50, 25, and 20 add up to, everyone? 95%. 95%. Good. So how much must the birds be? Cassie is anxious to answer, and so is Stephanie. So I'm going to let them say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
5%.
Good job, girls. All right. So 5% is what's remaining. All right. So are you guys getting the gist of this? Getting the hang of it? All right. So your homework tonight is actually going to be on page 94. You're going to be finding what percentage of papers each of the teachers in those examples are doing. So we'll look at that really quickly for anybody watching this at home. We're skipping some things if you couldn't tell. I don't have it on the smartboard, but that's okay. So anyway, the question says, Mr. Yoshi, not to be confused with Yoshi from the Mario Brothers, has 75 papers. He graded 60 papers, and he had a student teacher grade the rest. So he has a total of how many papers? 75. He graded 60, so you can figure out his percentage, right, by doing part over whole equals percent over 100. You have to figure out also if he graded 75 or 60 of the 75, what did that leave for the student teacher, and convert those to percentages as well, okay? Same idea for 113. You have Mrs. Bennett has graded 20% of 150 papers, so they just are giving you different pieces of that puzzle. Fill in what you know, and then make those connections, okay? Any questions on that? All right, guys, I'd like to thank everybody for liking and subscribing. I'll see you tomorrow on Math with Mrs. Lehman.